If you played a tabletop role-playing game in the late 1970s, you usually found yourself in a funhouse. Dungeons were chaotic, illogical obstacle courses. You might open a door and find a dragon sitting in a 10 by 10 room, with no explanation for how it got there or what it ate. By 1982, the hobby was expanding rapidly. A massive influx of brand-new dungeon masters were buying the basic rules, and the publisher, TSR, realized these new players needed a specific framework for logical world-building. The company assigned designer Tom Moldvay to write a 32-page booklet to solve this problem. What he delivered was Dungeon Module B4, The Lost City. Moldvay crafted a self-contained subterranean society steeped in cosmic horror, pulling heavy inspiration from 1920s weird pulp fiction to build a widely acclaimed atmospheric world. Yet, for all its meticulous detail, The Lost City holds a glaring structural mystery. Right as the story reaches its epic climax, the painstakingly detailed room descriptions stop. The maps vanish. The back half of the adventure is entirely blank. To understand why a major publisher shipped a legendary module with an empty ending, we have to physically descend through the architecture of the pyramid itself. The adventure opens with the players surviving a massive, blinding sandstorm. When the winds finally die down, they are hopelessly lost in the Alassian desert, completely separated from their caravan. They have no food, and their water skins are empty. The module immediately strips the characters of their resources, enforcing a strict biological ticking clock. In this environment, a simple drink of water is a far more vital prize than a chest of gold. This diagram shows the step pyramid's upper tiers, introducing dungeon ecology. Every creature serves a purpose in a biological network. For example, in Room 9, players don't just face a waiting monster. They find a giant gecko munching on a cultist's corpse. Down in Room 4, they discover the swollen body of a dead hobgoblin. If they investigate the environment, they learn it was stung to death by killer bees, originating from a massive hive 3 rooms away. These encounters establish a dynamic habitat. Monsters interact with and hunt one another, which shatters the illusion that the dungeon exists solely as a static waiting room for the player's amusement. As the players descend deeper, they uncover the tragedy of Cynidicia. This was a prosperous underground kingdom with a Ptolemaic Egyptian aesthetic that utilized advanced irrigation to reclaim an oasis from the desert. But during the excavation of their grand step pyramid, the workers dug too deep. They accidentally breached the lair of Zargon, a colossal reptilian monstrosity with 12 tentacles and a massive horn. Unable to defeat this Lovecraftian cosmic horror, the citizens resorted to worshipping it. Decades of fanatical cult activity and subterranean narcotics reduced the surviving population to masked, drug-addicted madmen. But the cult isn't the only group in the dark. Moldvay populated tiers 4 and 5 with 3 heavily armed secret societies: the Brotherhood of Gorm, the Magi of Usamigaras, and the Warrior Maidens of Matarua. They loathe one another. Each society has rigid membership requirements, forcing a diverse party to split allegiances based on class, race, and gender. This creates immediate friction. If the party's fighter joins Gorm, while the thief aligns with Usamigaras, they are now serving 2 rival masters who despise one another. Suddenly, simple tasks like sharing a safe room or splitting loot require the players to negotiate a truce between their own conflicting factions. By embedding the players into this local Cold War, the module turns a standard room of NPCs into a high-stakes diplomatic puzzle where words and allegiances matter as much as sword swings. Eventually, players reach the bottom of the pyramid and face Zargon himself. If they reduce his physical body to 0 hit points, they discover a terrifying mechanic. Zargon's horn is immortal, and the eldritch horror will completely regenerate from it over time. To permanently destroy the creature, they must step beyond the pyramid and descend into the unmapped subterranean ruins of Cynidicia to find a massive, world-spanning magical solution. This is where the Dungeon Master turns the page to run the epic underground climax and discovers that tiers 6 through 10 are empty. There's a broad map of the underground lake and mushroom fields, but the room keys and exact details are reduced to only a skeletal outline. This wasn't a deadline oversight. The book's text explicitly frames this as a pedagogical bridge. Moldvay's instructions transitioned a DM from running pre-written rooms in the basic set to creating an entire world for the upcoming expansive expert rules. He provided the warring factions, the ecological logic, and the terrifying immortal villain. By handing the Dungeon Master a fully fueled narrative engine and withholding the final map, he forced the DM to practice world-building before the campaign reached its end. This specific approach laid the conceptual groundwork for the modern mega-dungeon genre, demonstrating that a subterranean complex could operate as a stratified society where internal politics and deep history are the primary drivers of adventure. By prioritizing resource scarcity, competing factions, and the creative autonomy of the DM, The Lost City demonstrated that a dungeon's most compelling features aren't the monsters on the map, but the history and politics left for the players to discover.